Sometimes destruction doesn't creep in slowly, it strikes in a single night, with one reckless choice. That's how my life unraveled. If I could turn back the clock, I would erase that evening completely. One night, one party, one drink too many, and the world I built collapsed. My career, my home, my marriage. I was 32 then, a marketing executive with a stable income, a manageable mortgage, and a husband I believed I would grow old with. Ethan and I had been married for 5 years. We weren't flawless, but I thought we were steady. I was wrong. That Friday, my team celebrated closing a huge deal. My boss, Vince, hosted an after-hours gathering at a sleek loft downtown. Ethan didn't like the idea of me going. He said Vince was smug, overly forward. I brushed it aside and promised, I'll be back by midnight. I should have listened. The loft was buzzing with champagne, soft music, and people finally letting loose. At first, I stayed close to colleagues, making casual conversation. Then Vince approached with a grin and handed me a glass of something strong. You should celebrate the right way, he said. I accepted, and then another. Before long, the room thinned, my head was foggy, and Vince edged closer. His hand brushed my arm, he laughed too long at my jokes. My instincts told me to walk away, but I didn't. What followed blurred. I recall sitting beside him on the couch, his hand sliding onto my thigh, and then nothing. The next thing I knew, I was waking up in his bed, still clothed, head pounding, stomach knotted with dread. Shame came first, fear right after. I slipped out before he woke, ordered an Uber, and cried silently all the way home. When I got back, Ethan was asleep. I stood staring at my reflection in the bathroom mirror, whispering to myself that nothing had happened, that I'd been too drunk. I repeated it like a prayer. But deep down, I knew a boundary had been crossed. I kept the secret for weeks. Every time Ethan kissed me, guilt twisted my stomach. Every time he asked about work, I tensed. Then everything fell apart. 2 Mondays later, I arrived at the office to see HR inside Vince's glass-walled office. He looked pale, avoiding my eyes. By noon, I was summoned. Vince had admitted something happened between us. He called it consensual but regrettable. Company policy forbade supervisor-employee relationships. By the end of that meeting, I was terminated. No severance. No reference. Just a sterile, professional dismissal. Shattered, I went home early. Ethan was in the kitchen cooking dinner. I sank into a chair and confessed everything, except the part where I hadn't resisted. He listened silently, too silently, then spoke 5 words I'll never forget. You cheated on me, Claire. I tried to explain, to say I couldn't remember clearly, that it wasn't what it looked like. But the more I spoke, the colder he became. That night, he packed a bag and said he needed space. 2 days later, a notice arrived, our landlord informing me that Ethan had withdrawn from the lease renewal. Since the apartment was under his name, I had 30 days to move out. Unemployed, abandoned, terrified, I had nowhere else but my sister Megan's cramped spare room. She offered kindness, but I could see the unspoken judgment in her eyes. My days blurred into endless job applications, admin work, retail, freelance gigs, anything, but the industry already knew. Word travels fast. Then came the final blow. One evening Megan walked in, pale and shaken, phone in hand. She showed me a video. My stomach dropped. It was security footage from the building lobby that night. Vince kissing my cheek. Me laughing, leaning in. The timestamp exposed everything. The video had landed on Reddit under the caption, "Office affair gone wrong." She got fired, now she's pretending to be a victim. My name wasn't in it, but coworkers quickly connected the dots. Comments piled up. The internet did what it always does, judge, shame, destroy. I deleted my social media, shut off my phone, and hid. Ethan never contacted me again. Weeks dragged into months. Eventually, I found part-time work as a receptionist at a dental clinic. The pay was awful, the hours worse, but it was survival. Megan urged me into therapy. Reluctantly, I went, and for the first time, I admitted the truth. I hadn't been assaulted. I hadn't been forced. I had made a choice, even if I pretended otherwise. One night, one mistake, and I lost everything. Ethan hadn't been perfect, but he didn't deserve betrayal. I even drafted him a letter, an honest apology. I never sent it. What would it change? He had moved on. Maybe his life was better without me. Sometimes I lie awake wondering what might have happened if I had left the party early, or said no to that second drink. But I didn't. And now, every day, I live with the weight of that choice. We like to believe a single night can't define us. But sometimes, it does. Sometimes the echoes of a weak moment carry farther than we ever imagined.